Um, with the Miz Dolph Ziggler feud, like you guys said, I figured the ending point should have been when he put his career on the line.
Yeah.
Like to say, okay, he passed that point. For me, I've never been a big fan of the Miz, but I would say I've changed a little bit since the last time we've done this podcast. Um, you look at, like you said, Mizdow, same thing with when Alex Riley. Alex Riley was a nobody, and for some reason he got super over, and I attribute that to the Miz, and I attribute the Damian Sandow thing to the Miz too, just because he's such a hated heel that people are going to cheer for whoever it is and get a mega over even after the feud.
And that's no, well, the Miz, I've heard, is an actual jerk in real life, so I don't think he's acting that hard.
He works well.
he works it well.
That's why he can't pull off a baby face.
But, yeah, I mean, that feud should have been over a long time ago. Then the wrong person won the ladder match. You can do so much. I mean, if Dolph isn't going to be chasing the championship, what is he going to do now?
Yeah,
is he going to be fighting? Who?
And the
what
ladder
I think
match,
was going to happen, and you could be wrong. I think it's going to be Hype Bros go for the tag titles next. Then Dolph's going to find a partner because he and Orton had a nice rivalry not long ago. I think that they can pull something out. It just depends on who they'll have to tag with Dolph.
I think they're going to job Dolph out again. I think they're going to feed Dolph to AJ to get him past Rumble, and we're going to go from there.
and I
Because
think
they don't know what they're going to do with Taker yet, and it's rumors of AJ and Taker, rumors of Cena and AJ, rumors of Taker and Cena. So
unless by some miracle Dolph Ziggler wins the Royal Rumble match, which probably isn't going to happen.
It's going to be Goldberg or Finn Balor.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, what they do. I hope they don't job him out. I hope they at least give him wins and maybe make a heel turn out of this. But yeah, it's hard to look, into the crystal ball at this point to see what they're going to do with Dolph because it just doesn't look like they have anything for him right now.
Yeah, and I feel like the ladder match was a perfect place to showcase his talent.
Oh yeah,
To give him a strong win and a strong showing, but he didn't really do anything in that match that was too memorable. And
they spent like 5 minutes right in the alleyway. Fighting.
And like this whole thing, we go back to who's next for whoever we're talking about. If you look at the pay-per-view, it was basically a heel sweep.
Very heel heavy, yeah.
Yep, and the heels are champions, and the champions that weren't in matches, that there were heels that won. So it's like they didn't build any credible baby faces to take on the heel champions in this event. So it's like I don't know, other than just rehashing the same feuds, I don't know where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
With everything.
I think it's because that TLC, especially with the brand split now, it's essentially a throwaway pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's essentially just a WWE Network special now, as I mentioned earlier. So I think they felt like they could get away with an all-heel show. But at the same time, you're not building anything to the future storylines. I mean, the next show, I think, for SmackDown is the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
You're going to have to build some kind of baby face for that, and you can't do that in
you're
just
not
2
have
hours.
Miz Dolph again, because we've had it a billion times, and in theory, this was the ending to the feud.
Yeah, if they do another Miz Dolph match, then they've definitely they're ruining the legacy of both wrestlers as well as the IC title. Because it's Cena Orton all over again.
Yep.
They've done the match so many times that if we see it again, you're going to scream. Mm-hmm. So they definitely, both Miz and Dolph they definitely need to find new dancing partners.
Yep.
Both for the sake of their own careers at this point.
And we'll move on to the next one. This is where I thought we were going to get something, because Baron Corbin defeats Kalisto in a chairs match. I thought Kalisto was going to pull out a win.
Yeah, this was basically his return match.
Yep. And I thought he'd pull out a win, setting up... He get a strong showing from Baron Corbin, potentially going on for the Miz with the Intercontinental Championship. You just build up a face, but instead Baron Corbin went over, and I mean Baron Corbin's not going to do anything right now. He's not going to take on a heel champion.
No.
Even though the wrong person won for that match, that was probably the best chairs match I've ever seen.
Yeah,
because the bar was very, very low for chairs matches, but this was really good.
They utilized it very well. And they utilized the idea of a big man versus a small man, I thought. Especially giving Kalisto so much offense and dodging around the big, slow guy. But I just really thought Kalisto should have pulled out a win.
Yeah, this reminds me of when Rey Mysterio was fighting. He was feuding with A-Train.
Yeah.
For some reason, they would not let Mysterio beat A-Train. and this reminded me of that. Like, Baron Corbin should have lost this match. Like, flat out. Chairs were involved. You could have kept Corbin looking strong. He got hit with a chair. But
that's
they didn't
how he
do
lays
that.
him out. But instead, they just let him get Kalisto
It was still a
squatted down.
great match. The fans were into it, but
I think, and to have the quote unquote rematch last night too.
Yeah,
and
again,
and we saw essentially the same match again, but without the chairs. It's just. SmackDown is clearly the better show out of the two in terms of talent. But at the same point, you wonder who's writing the show because it just seems like they're making the wrong decisions.
Yep.
So far, the only, going back, the tag match was good. Right team won there. We'll get into it later, but the world title match was good. The right person won there, although didn't like the ending. We'll get to that later on. But it just seems that from the beginning match to the end match, it was just a complete, lack of faith in their own creations.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like, you have, there were 7 matches total of the show, and it just felt like every match was written by a different member of the creative team, and they just threw it all together.
Yeah, with no long plan after the event to see where they were.
Yeah, it just felt like a 3-hour SmackDown rather than a SmackDown pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which I hope is not going to be a recurring theme for these brand exclusive pay-per-views either, because
it's like you have to if you're going to do it, make them feel special, make them feel like pay-per-views. Just don't throw them a souped-up SmackDown or
don't just
Raw.
charge twice as much for the tickets and put it only on the network and call it a day. No, actually put some effort into starting storylines, resolving storylines, and building up for the future shows.
Because if you look at SmackDown from this past week, it was almost identical to the pay-per-view. They just had a whole bunch of rematches.
Yeah, they even said, a night full of rematches from TLC.
It's like someone forgot to write the show, and they were like, hey.
Wait, you mean that show on Sunday wasn't SmackDown? We're not just showing that on USA Network? Crap. Do it all again. Just do it all again. So, yeah.
Wrong person won there. That was the only problem. It just like WrestleMania. Wrong. Everyone on that show, the wrong person won every match. Every match, the wrong person won.
All right, we'll move on to the announcement of the pay-per-view that Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg have been announced as the first 2 participants in the Royal Rumble this year.
Why did they tell us something we already knew?
Yeah.
I don't know. Aren't they both Raw superstars anyway? Why are we finding this on
the
SmackDown show? This is why I wanted to bring the podcast back. This moment right here made me miss doing this so much. I had to let you guys know I wanted to do this again. The match at Survivor Series, the 1.5-minute job match Brock Lesnar did for Bill Goldberg was both the worst and the best thing that could have possibly happened at the end of that show. Worst because she completely took away the meaning of breaking the Undertaker's streak. Because you had this unstoppable beast in Brock Lesnar, and he just got beaten by a 50-year-old. And second, I feel that not only does it show that Goldberg can still go for at least another year, which I think is actually the plan. I think he's booked until at least the end of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is 2 things. One, this is Vince basically apologizing to WCW fans, saying, we tried to do something cool with Sting, it didn't work out, we dropped the ball with him, have this one on us, WCW fans, we apologize, you get your other, your other main guy, pull something over on one of us.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I think they had something more in store for Sting, I think maybe a championship run at WrestleMania 32, beating Triple H, but obviously with him hurting his neck, that's not going to happen anymore, and retiring at the Hall of Fame.
He shouldn't have lost to Triple H in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
as much as
insane.
As much as Sting tries to say, yeah, it was my fault. I thought I was going to retire anyway, so I was going to put somebody over on the way out. So I did the old school thing. I think he was being nice.
Yeah, he was being
that
nice.
was definitely a Triple H call.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon.
I did enjoy the DX versus NWO shenanigans,
but they ruined it all with the finish, so it meant nothing.
Yeah,
I was baffled by
I also think that this was Brock Lesnar apologizing for Goldberg for ruining the WrestleMania 20 match, because Brock even admitted in some of the promos leading up to the match, I didn't care about WWE at the time. I just wanted to get out of here, do football, do UFC. I honestly could not have cared in this match. I think this was Brock going to Goldberg saying, I ruined your WrestleMania moment. You didn't care because I didn't care. The fans obviously didn't care. We ate up 20 minutes of time that no one wanted to see. That's on me. Go ahead, squash me for this match, and we can build something up for the future at WrestleMania or something, so that we can actually have a WrestleMania moment that we can be proud of together.
And I was at and this was in 2015, but I was at Lexington Comic Con in Kentucky, and Goldberg was there, and I went to his panel, and somebody brought up the question about WrestleMania 20, and Goldberg basically said, he just basically shrugged it off. He was like, Brock was leaving, I was leaving. I don't think either one of us cared about the match. He said, I was fed up, and Brock wanted to go do other things. So, and the news got out to the fans. He said the fans were crapping on the match before they even got all the way to the ring.
They referenced that leading up to one of the WWE 2K games. I forget which year, but they posted a gameplay, the entrances.
Yeah.
And it was at WrestleMania 20, and it was Goldberg versus Lesnar. And, you hear JR and King trying to hype up the match, and all you hear is the fans just, boo, you sold out, you sold out, you sold out. And this is something that they use to promote the game. So yeah, it definitely shows that the 2K teams are a bunch of marks, for one. And definitely shows that WWE is aware that both they and everyone involved kind of dropped the ball on that one. I think Goldberg wanted to have a good match, but like you said, he was on his way out anyway. Brock clearly didn't care about the WWE. That showed in the months leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think from Royal Rumble up, he was like, can I just be gone? Can I just be gone? What do you mean I have to do this again? Can I just be gone? I get that I'm WWE champion. Let me drop it to Eddie Guerrero and let me just be gone. Do I have to do a WrestleMania match? Let me just be gone. I want to play football and be cut before the end of week 2 of preseason. So yeah, I just think that it closed a couple chapters. It doesn't seem like that from the beginning, but squashing Brock in less than 2 minutes was an apology to WCW fans for Sting, and I do feel that it was Brock kind of apologizing to Goldberg that even though both didn't care about that WrestleMania match, it was clear Brock cared about it the least.
Yeah.
And I think Goldberg wanted to pull off a good match. This is kind of his swan song, because he... it's been 12 years and he wasn't in a wrestling ring, since then.
Right.
So that was going to be his swan song as well. And I think he wanted,
and he looks the same.
Yeah, a little more gray in the beard, but
he must have been dyeing his beard or something, because when I saw him in Lexington Comic Con, like I said last year, he was gray, but he wasn't that gray.
Yeah. Yeah, Survivor Series, for me, when I had watched it, I almost thought it was WWE hitting the panic button. Because basically what had happened was they spent, 2 years feeding all their top guys, including Undertaker Streak, to Brock Lesnar. We put an emphasis on the wellness policy. Lesnar gets busted when he gets to the UFC.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that.
So they needed a guy that looked strong, but since everyone just looked weak against him, they were like, we need to bring somebody in to make him look strong.
Also, to me, that's WWE's own fault, and not punishing Lesnar, because they came up with some BS excuse. And I heard an interview with Hardcore Holly where he said, they just made that up. Yeah. Anyway, that's their own fault, because it seems like they don't know how to, it's going back to what CM Punk said years ago.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make new stars, and that's the problem. They didn't make any new stars.
Yeah.
And when you have Brock, you keep letting him beat everybody, and it's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You're putting all your eggs in one basket, and then when that happens,
I know he's supposed to be he's a legit tough guy. It doesn't matter now. You work here, you're gonna do what we say. Yep. We're paying you.
What I think might have happened, and this is just me, in fantasy booker mode, but had Finn Balor not gotten injured and was able to carry the Universal title, which again is a stupid looking belt, a stupid name as well.
Get over it.
I'm trying, but every time I see it, I see red, and not because the belt is. I think if there was anyone that was going to beat Brock Lesnar and be that young guy, it should have been him. And whether or not that he would have lost the title to Brock leading up to that or not, and have it go all the way to WrestleMania to be that guy, it would have been Finn Balor. And obviously dislocating his shoulder during that SummerSlam match put a kibosh to that. But if there was one guy that could do that, it would probably have been Finn. The only other guy that I can see doing it now is maybe Shinsuke Nakamura, but I don't think they're going to bring him up from NXT for a while.
They don't want to bring him up yet because they basically, it's been said that they need a person to be the flagship of that brand, which Finn Balor was for like 2 years.
Yep. And then
but
when
it
they
got to a
rated
point
everybody.
with him where he had, you could tell in NXT where there's really nothing else for someone to do.
Yep, you just hit that point, your glass ceiling, and then you got to go.
Because all their opposition leaves too. They're already on the main roster, so there's nothing for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So with Brock, to me, at WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose, he should have lost that match.
I think the match should have been better. The match should have been longer, but I think Brock should have won that match.
And my thing is, if he was going to win, you should have listened to Dean. He's a better wrestler than you, first of all. Now, Dean Ambrose was as hot as he's cooled off a lot now, but he was very hot during that period.
Yeah.
So if he was going to win, if Brock was going to lose, then he should have lost to Dean. They had the excuse. It was chairs and hardcore.
It was Ambrose's territory. Yeah. That's what it was.
But it just turned out.
He got demolished. He got
another
kicked.
Suplex City match.
Yeah. It was that match ended 10 minutes too soon. I thought.
Then,
not to mention it was a hardcore match that had no hardcore elements to it. So
and they gotta make some of these guys look more credible. Like even Randy Orton.
That
he shouldn't have been thrown. You can't have every match be like when he was throwing John Cena around for that match was only 9 minutes.
Yeah, but when you have unfortunately, as much as I agree with you, when you have hashtag Suplex City counter and then it adds a different number every time he does a suplex, people want that trending. WWE wants that trending, and obviously if they want to see. I know, but if they want to see Brock Lesnar do 30 suplexes on whatever sad sod it gets in the match with him, they're going to have him do it. You know, you can blame that SummerSlam match, I was saying SummerSlam a lot, SummerSlam match 2 years ago, with Cena that started the whole Suplex City thing, and that's just what it became.
I'm going to say this now, I'm so glad that wasn't Daniel Bryan, because that was supposed to be him in that spot. I'm so glad
that would have been bad.
Especially with
with what we know about his concussions and having the seizures and that, Which is why I'm so glad that he's the general manager spot now, because I think his contract is another 2 years from ending.
They made it clear to him that we're not letting you out of your contract, so
we're not
sit home and collect money, or we'll find you something to do.
Yeah, and I think he's happy in the spot too, because he's in front of the fans. They obviously.
I think it's a great spot for him. I think it works well.
That was originally the plan for the brand split altogether, was to give him SmackDown, and even if it was going to be Shane and Stephanie teaming up to run Raw, he was going to still run SmackDown. Pretty much that decision to get him off TV and to bring him back later on, that's the whole reason the brand split came into be.
Yeah.
Not that because WWE needed it, even though they desperately needed it with how oversaturated the roster became, but it definitely helps. And I think as the years go on and he realizes that he can still get that same kind of feeling from the fans as an authority figure rather than putting his life on the line, getting into that ring again. I think it's going to show that he's going to, tire fully.
Yeah.
As soon as Brie has a kid, is she pregnant now? I don't remember.
Still pregnant.
Okay. As soon as Brie has a kid and he realizes that that's more important and wanting to be a father for his child, he'll probably sign on and say, I'll still be an authority figure, or I'll sign a Legends contract that says I can't do independent stuff anymore, because obviously this is
a safe bet.
This is more important.
And I heard that's also why they haven't, brought back Kurt Angle. Have been really talking about Kurt Angle because they're scared for his health. They don't want to bring him back either.
Well, he's still wrestling in the UK. Does stuff for what culture all the time.
He's just not going to stop. That guy's going to die in a ring. I guarantee it. That's just what is going to happen to Kurt Angle.
Probably be how you wanted to go out, though.
Yeah.
Go out and do what you love.
Yep.
All right, move on to Alexa Bliss defeats Becky Lynch to become the new WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion.
This match it wasn't bad by any means. However, it would have been a lot better if it just wasn't a tables match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with a match like this, you're only going to get one table break, and that's a big pop for the match anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's like all you can do.
Unless you're Big Show, who accidentally steps on one and ruins the whole match. I still don't think that was scripted. You see Big Show's face when he breaks that table. It's like, oh god, I just ruined this whole storyline, didn't I? But yeah, I honestly think watching the SmackDown when they announced that, it was last week, wasn't it? Right before, yeah. It was the SmackDown last week when they announced it. I think they just said, well, let's just put her through a table. Let's just make it a tables match, and they made that match on the fly. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like that even though this is a TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view, there should have been at least one singles match that didn't have a gimmick. And it just felt like because they had that table break on the show that they just threw it in there.
I think it was planned, but I don't think they came up with it to that night. Cause
we
have a chairs match. We have a tables, ladders, and chairs match. And Dolph is going for the championship
in a ladder match.
Oh my gosh, we don't have a tables match.
Oh god, make the women.
All right, we're going to write this into the script so we'll have a reason for them to have a
tables match. So it definitely feels like it was a last minute, day of the show thing to where they can still promote it on SmackDown. The right woman won. I'm glad Alexa Bliss did win the championship. I felt it's the right time for her to be champion. I don't think she's going to be champion for very long. I think she'll probably lose it back to Becky Lynch. Either on an episode of SmackDown in a few weeks or at the Royal Rumble.
Nikki Bella. They're calling them Nikki Bella.
Oh, God. But yeah, it's definitely the right time because she's definitely one of the more cunning heels in all of WWE right now.
She's a little jerk. To put it PG. Oh my gosh, she's a jerk.
Yeah, and she's perfect at it too. I mean, the whole cosplaying somewhat as Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. I don't think that's so much as a ripoff or homage. I think that's more of what her character
just
is.
Like her. All she did was really just put her hair in pigtails and
right. Yeah, she had that diner hair since.
Yeah, she's had her NXT ring attire.
Yeah. Well, you look at her being, the manager of what even were their names?
Blake and Murphy.
Blake and Murphy, okay.
Buddy Murphy and Wesley Blake. Yeah.
Wasn't Murphy one of the security guards in TNA? I kept getting them confused.
Oh, Lord.
The other Murphy.
And they were going on at the same time. I'm like, they do notice, right? But, it was... I just feel that her character has greatly evolved from... Because I remember an NXT TakeOver, I don't remember which one, when Blake and Murphy lost to the Thawed Villains for the tag titles. She cut a small promo, and it was so by-the-numbers trash that, no one's going to take her seriously. She'll lucky if she ever gets called up to the main roster. You look at her now, and the promo that she cut last night, she's like, she's come across tenfold how well that she can do on the mic. And that's something that a lot of women of the past 5 years have lacked. Yeah. Even recently, so the fact that she's so good on the mic now definitely shows that she's gotten the right training. And if this wrestling career doesn't work out for her in the long term, that she can become one of the best heel managers we've seen since Vicky Guerrero. So she definitely has her ducks in a row right now in the right order so that she can have a long career in WWE.
And that tag team she was managing, Blake and Murphy, she was clearly the star of that team.
Yeah, she started outshining them right at the end there, like before.
Yeah, and on top of that, she was really doing nothing as a good guy at that point. So.
Yeah.
But, they kept Becky strong. She lost the match, but she didn't get pinned or tap out.
Yeah.
She went through a table, and Baby Trish gets the win.
Yeah.
That's how it worked.
Yeah, and I love Becky Lynch, too. I think the whole Irish Lass Kicker thing's getting a little stale on me at this point, but... definitely want to keep the fire orange hair. I love that. She's great. She obviously needs a little bit more mic work. The accent isn't helping much, which I'm still not convinced it's an entirely fake. But if this is what we're building the SmackDown Women's Division on the backs of these two women, then it may be in better hands than I think it is.
Yeah.
Because if this is going to be the Trish and Lita of this generation, at least for SmackDown, then the women's division is set, at least until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that if Nikki does get involved because of backstage politics and things like that, if it's going to derail one or both of their careers.
Yeah, because I think it says
a stupid feud with Natalia right now. I don't even think it's a feud because she saw her on SmackDown. It's like, fold, my arms are folded. That means I'm mad. I'm just going to walk away.
Well, I think it says a lot putting the faith in Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, because I think this was a few years ago and we were at a TLC pay-per-view and there's a women's match. It would just be a regular grudge match. But I think that stipulation would have been passed over the women's division. But I think putting those two in an actual stipulated match, especially being a tables match, I think it attributes a lot to how they feel about the women's division and the kind of emphasis they're going to put it on, that they are in the tier of the male division as well. It's not just like, okay, they're women, so we're not going to do a chairs or a ladder or anything like that. We're going to actually put them.
Oh, here come the women's, folks. Stand up and cheer. But yeah, it definitely shows that WWE, they're tilting a little more, not going deep into the TV-14 territory, but definitely towing the line with PG
they're dipping
at this
their
point.
toe in right now.
And they're definitely showing that, they're willing to let their women wrestlers wrestle, which is something that they haven't done for the past 5-10 years.
Well, after they got started getting shown up by NXT, they didn't have
a
choice.
Yep, they had to evolve.
Not even that. You look back at, TNA's been crap for the past 5 years, but you look back at the Knockouts division, and it blows anything WWE has put in, out of the water.
Yeah, especially at that time.
Back then, that stopped being a factor in 2013.
Yeah.
The one they have left now is Gail.
Yeah.
I'm a Gail Kim fan for life, but she's working in the wrong place. I guarantee.
In WWE, she keeps getting buried. That's why she keeps leaving.
I guarantee if she comes back this time, she'll be a trainer in NXT.
Oh yeah,
that would be the best fit for her. Yeah.
And she's almost 40 now anyway. I don't think she wants to be wrestling forever, So.
Still hot though.
Yes. Gail Kim,
always and forever.
Right.
Gail Kim.
We met her at that one AIW show.
Yep.
Yeah, I was too scared to meet her though.
He just stood from afar.
He just stood from afar,
like, oh, man.
staring at it and pretending to look at the knockout belt instead.
All right, move on to the main event. AJ Styles defeats Dean Ambrose in a TLC match to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, I'm going to have to go way off track to the point where I'm not even on the freeway anymore when talking about AJ Styles. I know, D, you're going to join me on this.
Make sure you transform and climb back up and drive on the road again.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Since we kind of alluded to it a little bit ago, just going ahead to say this. TNA, you done fucked up. How do you let this happen?
Ding, 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 ding. He said the magic word.
How do you let this happen? I mean, and this is, and we're just talking about AJ Styles at this point. This is the guy that your company was built around from day one. And you don't pay him what he's deserved? Granted, we now know that TNA doesn't have any money to pay anybody anyway. But still, you don't do your best to...
You don't just pretend?
I would give him ownership of the company at this point to get him to stay. That's brilliant, actually. He just showed us a meme of a bunch of TNA jump shippers to NXT and says the year TNA officially died.
Oh,
officially. And it's true. And it's not even... AJ is obviously the tipping point where we can basically say this is where the Titanic officially hit the iceberg.
Yep.
But ever since, the whole Billy Corgan thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I saved this for the show because I wanted to talk about it in the car review, and I wanted to do it for this. My brother is the biggest Smashing Pumpkins fan on the planet. And when I told him that Billy Corgan was the president of TNA, his jaw literally hit the floor. It's like, why is Billy Corgan in a wrestling storyline? And I'm like, no. He's not president in a storyline sense. He's president he's legitimately running the company sense. And he just had a blank look on his face, and I saw his soul die. Because I don't think he realized that Corgan was that big of a wrestling fan. And the fact that Corgan got in with these, shysters in TNA is absolutely a mess. Because he was officially the president of TNA, but they never gave him any presidential power, which seems
But
weird.
They definitely took his money.
They definitely took his money because he was trying to put forth the money to try to buy TNA. He wanted to rebrand it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to keep the TV slots, the championships, the current contracts. He just wanted to change the name and kind of reboot the company a la WCW did before they
Close.
did it again. But, yeah, he just wanted to... I think his goal was to essentially just sell the tape library from the Nashville days all the way to then to WWE for the network. Because obviously they can use it with the TNA stars in NXT now. And with AJ and all that. And just reboot it. Basically, I think they also wanted to merge with Jeff Jarrett's new promotion, Global Force. And kind of bring that.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
I just forgot. I just was reminded that was a thing like this week when they posted something saying, "Yeah, Cody Rhodes is our whatever it is champion."
The Next Gen Championship, because they're still holding house shows. They're still doing events. They just had one set of TV tapings, but never posted the episodes.
They need to update their website because they have like a plethora of guys on their webpage. They're assigned by WWE right now. They've been with WWE for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Even Anderson and Gallows on there. Gargano and Ciampa's on that thing. Who else? Not Zack Ryder. Kurt Hawkins is on it.
Oh yeah.
Come on, update your website if you're still around. I think that promotion actually might be dead in the water. And
I hope not, because
TNA is in the water, but
TNA is trying to doggy paddle its way back to the surface.
But somebody's pushing their head underneath.
Yeah,
they're trying to kill him.
Yeah, Billy Corgan, I love you to death. I love your music to death. You should have never gotten involved with these shysters because they screwed you from moment one. And Dixie Carter doesn't know how to run a lemonade stand, let alone an entire wrestling company.
Yeah.
How after Panda Energy pulled out, she was still able to have control of this company is beyond me. How they keep signing, guys like Aaron Rex and Cody Rhodes and other guys from independent promotions that obviously WWE was looking into beforehand, but they still chose to sign with TNA. I guess to get the TV time early or so they don't have to do 6 months of boot camp at the developmental center. Who knows? But I hope you enjoy your 50 cents a night paycheck because that's all TNA has in the bank. Their world headquarters is a warehouse now.
Yeah.
Classy.
One of my friends from high school who actually works on and off of AIW, he took a trip to Nashville to film another wrestling promotion. Went by TNA's old headquarters, and it's still has computers and Post-it notes hanging on them, but the place looks like it's been abandoned for months.
They just picked
they just basically didn't even get anything else. They just packed up the bare essentials and moved into the warehouse. And talk about this. What the hell is going on with the Hardys?
Oh,
delete.
What?
I don't even watch TNA, and I just love it.
Oh my! I swear to God, Matt found Jeff's stash and just never came back down from his high. That's honestly the only explanation that's going on right now. It's like
Brother Church of Casey.
Oh my God. Brother Nero was funny once. Now it's annoying. And I love how... What was it? I don't know if you guys ever saw the movies. Or the movies. The fact that they call them movies is insulting. But they actually want to make a full-length movie out of that. You hear about that?
No.
Yeah. Jeremy Borash, who's been directing these things, by the way, he actually wants to make a full-on, full-length Broken Hardys movie.
Lord. Well, that's the only thing that's going to keep them afloat. Because the Hardys... From my understanding, are the best thing going for that company.
The only thing going for that company. Do you know any other champions other than the tag champions?
I've heard that they've been doing the best work of their career. But the only problem is they're doing it in TNA and nobody's seeing it.
Yeah.
They're seeing it because it's obviously meme-worthy and it goes viral really quickly. But the only other... I just remember the thing that broke me. No pun intended. The thing that broke me with it is that Matt put Jeff in the pool of rejuvenation or resurrection, and he comes out as Victory Road Jeff Hardy.
Oh my God!
Yes, he came out with a Victory Road belt, no face paint, which is sad, but yeah, because that's the Jeff Hardy you want to turn him into. The high as a guy can't even walk straight. Hardy that officially killed his career. Like I remember. I remember the house show. I didn't even want to go up to the guy when we were backstage because
I remember that.
because Hardy, I have no respect for Jeff Hardy anymore after that. You have a main event match with a legend in Sting, a world title match, and you do that to not only yourself, but your company and your legacy. That's all I'm ever going to remember Jeff Hardy of. Not jumping off of a ladder, not that spear at TLC 2, not anything else, not having that comeback tale in WWE where he won the world title a couple times. That's the moment I'm going to remember Jeff Hardy for life. I cannot, and I even watched that match, a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like, if I ever see Jeff Hardy walking down the street, I'm going to punch him. Like, it's seriously, as a wrestling fan, it insults me to my fucking core that this guy not only still has a career, still had a career. They didn't fire him. They just put him to rehab for 2 months.
They should have fired him, but they wanted to keep that name.
Yeah, exactly. That's how desperate TNA was at the time, is that any big name that's lost to them, it's lost for them for good.
Yeah, like AJ Styles said in Stone Cold's interview, like Dixie Carter would sign guys that she liked.
Yeah.
Like, she saw them on TV or something like, oh, I like him, I want to sign him. He's free. Let's do it. So that's why we wound up with Bischoff and Hogan. And we wound up
That's how that goes.
2010 was a bad year. Oh, my God.
It was bad from that first Impact on Monday nights. Yeah.
The thing was that first Impact was bad. It was Genesis that year when they officially killed off the six-sided ring that ruined everything.
Yep.
So, yeah, right. Enough about TNA, because if I keep on about this, I'm going to blow these microphones out. The match itself. AJ ripped his pants.
Oh, my God.
I put that aside and laughed about it later, but that was a great match.
Oh, it was really
that reminds me of Gail Kim when half of her shorts ripped across the back, and the fans were whistling the whole time.
When was this?
This was.
How did I not know about this?
This was Gail's rookie year, way back in the Eric Bischoff era of Raw. She was in her heel form after she lost the women's title originally. It was a match. I think it was against. It couldn't have been against Trish. It had to have been someone else. It might have been against Christy Hemme. But literally, the back of her trunks ripped off. So you kind of saw her panties underneath. And the whole, the match was 5 minutes long, which was typical for Divas matches at the time. Mm-hmm. And the fans were just wolf whistling the whole time, going around. And you could tell she knew about it, but they couldn't stop the match.
Yeah.
And she was a trooper and just fought through it. So
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, the match was good. But I'm going to bring up the thing that ruined it.
Ellsworth?
Who the hell is James Ellsworth, and why should I care? All I know about this guy is that his finishing move is no chin music. And that he tweeted months and months ago when he was still a jobber. Not even in NXT, but just a jobber on occasion.
Yeah.
Tweeted HBK with a picture of him from the side showing that he has no chin, going, "Ha ha, HBK, your sweet chin music has no effect on me. I'm calling you out." I retweeted that, and I giggle at it every time I see it on my feed. But why is this guy getting a push? Why should we care? Does WWE feel like SmackDown Live doesn't have enough superstars that they can try to build with using the Styles Ambrose feud?
Yeah,
there isn't anyone from NXT that we could build with. You can't put... If Slater wasn't in the tag team title picture, I would much rather have him kind of be the Ambrose lackey.
That would be a better fit. But I think Ellsworth got over by accident. And then they were like, okay, let's just let's put him on TV one week and see what happens. And then he got him over again. And like, okay, now we can't ignore it. We have to do something with it now. And then
we can put him in a John Cena storyline and kill his momentum. Separator. Sorry about that, but
and that's another tragic story I get upset about every time I think about it. Poor Zack Ryder.
Smash Bros. Hype Bros are doing pretty good.
So.
Yeah, the match was nothing special. It was, you see
knowing who was gonna win.
Yeah, that was obviously. I kind of thought AJ was going to win. They're not going to kill off his.
He's not as hot as he was before he was about to win it, because like when he came off of beat John Cena like twice, twice at that point. I was like, they'd be a fool. I was looking for Gail Kim's video. That's what's on my phone right now. Anyway, they would have been a fool to not put the title on AJ.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did when they did it, because AJ was red hot as a heel, best heel in the company at that point. So I knew he was going to beat Dean. The thing is, the finish of the match didn't serve what the storyline was going. Everybody was getting tired of Dean Ambrose trying to chase the championship. Anyway, you lost, clean or otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, he lost twice, I believe, and then he lost, and he didn't get pinned, but he lost in the triple threat, with John Cena had no business being in. Because everybody gets away with whining their way into a championship, but him.
I was more on the confused side than anything. Did Ellsworth just turn heel? And then they had on SmackDown, it's like, no, he's not heel. He just was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Then they had Ambrose give him dirty deeds, and then he interferes somewhat in the main event match for the IC title.
He said, well, I feel I have AJ Styles' number, and any man with two hands and two fists in a dream, whatever the hell he's saying, they have a fighting chance. So I want AJ Styles to win because I feel like I have his number. So I'm sure Dean understands. So I made sure AJ won so I could beat AJ. I'm like, how does that make any sense? And Daniel Bryan even said, this dude just Styles clashed you off the steps on SmackDown. He almost killed you. Why are you trying to fight him?
Oh, yes. What 15, 20 years of wrestling experience. You've been in the business, 3, if even that. How does he have a WWE contract again? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he does the whole, accidental, Dean has the match won. He's trying to get the referee's attention for the other piece of shenanigans that happened with Maurice. Dean sees this, gets, skull-crushing finale, loses the match clean to Miz, essentially, even though the referee's distraction, and he just goes, oh God, and just runs to the back.
That didn't make any sense. Why were you out here?
Yeah, this has happened before. I forget with who. This has happened when you have a young up-and-comer guy, fans are clearly behind, starts to get an ego to him in storyline, and just turns heel for absolutely no reason, even though he's...
happening with Colin Delaney.
Yeah.
That's who he was. Yeah, that's what it was.
Nobody cared, but it did the crappy version of ECW.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was just a case of...
Well,
this can't go well for Ellsworth. Even if you like the kid and you want to see him...
The novelty will wear off, and then he'll be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. He's another novelty act.
Because the same thing did happen with Colin Delaney. I feel like they don't know... Because you get a guy that's like a jobber and accidentally gets over, just like with Colin Delaney, and they don't know what to do with him, so it seems like they just turn him heel real quick. But it doesn't work because they're not over enough, so everyone ends up not caring.
Plus, nobody buys him as a credible threat to fight a another superstar.
Yeah, unless you're like that kind of wormy manager kind of guy who wrestles on occasion, that can work. But it's clear that this guy has some wrestling experience.
He could be a good manager.
See, I feel like they missed an opportunity with keeping the club with AJ, and then they could have had Ellsworth join as their whipping boy and just be like a loser to them, and just have him that way.
They said AJ was noticeably upset when he found out that Anderson and Gallows weren't coming to SmackDown with him.
Yeah, I thought that was a big mess up on their end. I think that they.
It was a week after they released the T-shirt too. You notice that?
It didn't make any sense.
It's Air Boom all over again.
Oh Lord.
Oh man, I remember when we were talking about that whole deal back when we did the podcast initially. And Evan Bourne got suspended, and that was the last time we basically ever saw him. After the second time, because he was doing Spice.
I remember we kept giving updates because it was like, oh, he's back. He hurt his leg in a car accident. As soon as he came back, they dropped him and Cole dropped the titles to the Shining Stars, who weren't called the Shining Stars at that point.
God, that's another theme music that I absolutely cannot stand.
But you know what? They should be called the Shining Stars of the Caribbean, because the Shining Stars doesn't work with their gimmick to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the match, As far as the finish, this is how I would have done it. I would have had AJ just win the match. Beat Dean Ambrose. Go to the back. Dean Ambrose is staggering up to his feet. Ellsworth comes out. Because in this match, Ellsworth would accidentally cost Ambrose the match. Ambrose turns heel, obliterates Ellsworth. We have an Ambrose heel turn, and he can move on to feud with someone else. Because I think the whole reason Ambrose's character, to me, is I don't buy him as crazy. I was watching Hey Arnold last night, and he did the I'm Crazy episode. I buy him more as crazy than I do Dean Ambrose. He comes off as goofy. There's not when he won the championship. Like, okay, maybe this is gonna be the start of something, start of something good.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. He just came off as a sarcastic twit.
Yeah,
I didn't get it. I don't buy you as crazy. You're supposed to be the lunatic fringe. That's a nickname that I absolutely loathe. I can't stand it. It sounds stupid.
Sounds like his haircut's trying to eat him or something.
Yeah, it's like you look like Ed Sheeran for one with this stupid beard you're growing.
you just blew my mind with that.
Yeah. Look, but I just don't buy him as crazy. He needs to, and I think the reason he's not getting over, he's over. I mean, people like Dean Ambrose. Don't get me wrong, but they're not buying him as crazy. It's not because it's PG. It's because you can do more with that character as a bad guy.
Yeah,
and same thing with I'll jump to Raw. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns screams heel.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
Yes.
Through and through.
Yep.
Why are you trying to push him as a good guy?
Because he's Triple H's pet project, and Triple H just...
Reigns?
Yeah.
I thought he was a McMahon guy.
Yeah, I thought he was a McMahon guy, too.
Okay.
Either
Either way,
that's
way, whether it's Triple H or the McMahons, it doesn't matter. The powers that be want him to be the next John Cena, and it's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. The next John Cena, in my opinion, Lord, and I really hope this doesn't happen because John Cena got pushed down people's throats and he got booed because John Cena wanted to turn heel several times and they said no.
No, you sell too much merchandise.
Yeah,
we need the money.
Even though like other people could supplant that because reasons. But that guy to me is Seth Rollins that could do that. To be that next John Cena type guy. They just have to stop giving him bull crap.
Shawn Michaels, yes. John Cena, no. I don't think...
You don't think he can sell as much merch as John Cena?
No. No, I don't. Not unless they do the exact same thing they've done with Cena and keep him face for an extended period of time, which I don't see Seth doing.
And Seth Rollins, actually, he has a cool factor to him. John Cena doesn't. He did when he was doing the rapper gimmick.
They're going to want someone, and I hate to echo the sentiment that Joey Styles did to get fired from WWE, but they're going to want someone that women and kids like. They're going to want someone that could potentially get 500 Make-A-Wish kids to ask for him. And if there's anyone,
I see where you're going with this. Okay.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do that, it's going to be Roman Reigns. Whether he screams heel or not, Roman Reigns is that guy that you can mold into the next John Cena. Seth Rollins is that Shawn Michaels type character that can, if you're going to keep him face, he's going to be more of that tweener style to where you don't know where his allegiance lie. When he's a heel, he can be a damn effective heel. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
When he's a face, he can be a pretty effective face as well. Not quite sold on him as a face yet, but he can definitely get the job done.
My thing with Roman Reigns is, and Stone Cold Steve Austin said this several times, if he's going to be a good baby face, he has to be a heel first. That's the only way that people are going to like him.
And
he has to be
he should be the top
first.
heel on Raw right now. And they really missed the boat. When Rollins came back, he should have been the top face. Rollins should have been the top face, making Reigns the top heel. They missed it.
And the thing is, I don't ever want to see those two wrestle each other until they switch alignments.
Yeah. What they should have done at Money in the Bank, Ambrose shouldn't have cashed in. Rollins should have beat him clean, which he did.
Yeah.
Slowly morph into a face as champion while Roman was serving that suspension, which is the reason he lost clean to begin with. And slowly, basically do the the Austin Bret Hart match. Do the double switch, which can work great if you can pull it off right. It can work miracles to storytelling.
And it would have worked because audiences wanted that.
Last time we saw a double turn, I think, was with Del Rio.
And Ziggler, yeah. So that would have been perfect if they didn't feel that Ambrose. It was time for him to cash in Money in the Bank, which was a stupid decision to begin with. We have to wait a whole year for another briefcase. Are you kidding me, guys? If they were smart enough to think of that ahead of time, which obviously, as we mentioned before, is not WWE's strong suit right now, thinking ahead, if they could have just slowly morphed Seth Rollins into a face during the 30 days that Reigns was serving that suspension for, have Reigns come back, have them feud over the title, do a double switch match at a pay-per-view, which I think it might have been SummerSlam, so they definitely could have pulled it off if they had even waited, the extra month or so. They pulled it off at SummerSlam. You cast, Rollins as the face champion, or even, as the face trying to win his championship back, and you really mold Roman Reigns as a despicable heel going back to when the Shield first debuted and willing to do anything to anyone to get that top spot to prove that he's really the top dog in the WWE. It would have completely refreshed the storytelling, and in my opinion would have probably made Raw the show to watch rather than SmackDown.
Yeah.
So they definitely missed the boat with that one. It all came to because they wanted to put the championship on Ambrose as soon as possible.
And going back to Reigns is not a bad wrestler by any means. He gets the job.
No, he's getting a lot better.
He's getting better, but he was never, to me, he was never like, I can never say, oh, Roman sucks. Because I'll say that when somebody's terrible in the ring.
Leading into WrestleMania 31, I would have said he sucked. I felt he was still too green.
Really?
I felt that he was still too green with his wrestling style to really be considered a champion.
He was just protected so much with the Shield that he didn't really... When you have Ambrose and Rollins in there, they're not going to give much ring time to Reigns, which was the weak point. So when they broke up, he didn't have that time to evolve like they did.
Yeah, and he never really had singles matches when he was with the Shield either.
He was always the muscle.
Yeah, Ambrose had more than his fair share because he was U.S. champion for so long, mainly during house shows. But yeah, it was always him and Rollins tagging with each other or three-man tag with the Shield. He never really. I can't even think of a singles match that he had as a member of the Shield.
I think got interfered in, but he had a match against CM Punk when he was with the Shield on Raw. But I think that wound up being a run-in situation that got thrown out or whatever. So, but that's one of the few I remember. But I've never thought he was a terrible wrestler. Around when he was starting to get pushed to the moon. However, they dropped the ball on. You can say he wasn't ready. He might have been really green then, but when he was still in the Shield, I think at the Royal Rumble once it was 2013, he was getting red hot. Just being in the group. People were chanting Roman Reigns. They wanted to see him win the Royal Rumble because Batista was in it and Dan Bryan wasn't winning. He was getting a lot of attention. They dropped the ball there.
Yeah, I think that
they were already turning the Shield face, so...
Yeah.
But somebody gets over on their own, we're going to do something screwy with them.
Yeah. You'll cheer who we tell you to cheer. It's just the...
Yeah, but...
Overall, I give TLC a C, mainly because,
You're tough. I'm going to change my grade, though.
I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know if... Just looking at... I'm just going to go back to what I said earlier. It's too soon to have these brand-exclusive pay-per-views.
Yeah.
They definitely should have built these up a little longer. Granted, you're not going to have the big payoff at the shows as much, leading into Royal Rumble, but definitely going into WrestleMania season, that's when they should have started kicking these off a little bit.
But you know what they said when they figured out they could do that after the brand split? Oh my gosh, network content. Let's put it out, network content.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly what I brought up earlier. That's the only reason why they have, what did you say, 1920 pay-per-views or special events?
They were going to have maybe a few more, but they scaled back.
Yeah. As long as you keep the big four where they are, I'm fine. You can have as many, takeovers, roadblocks,
What I
or
would like to see them do, though, is like as far as money the bank is concerned, whichever show that's exclusive to, leave it, and then at WrestleMania, the other show gets the Money in the Bank because since they want to have a ladder match so badly at WrestleMania anyway, have a Money in the Bank match for the other show there, and then the next year reverse it. So
I can see that.
Yeah, that should work. It makes a lot of sense, but will they do what makes sense? I don't put my faith in that.
No, they're gonna have. If they do that, they're gonna have to have the Money in the Bank show be the show immediately after WrestleMania. They're gonna have to set it up so that it's only about a 2-week wait, and
They
then
have to
they
leave
got
that
the
in
show.
July. They shouldn't move it. That'll just be overkill.
If that's the case, then they usually have 2 ladder matches at Money in the Bank anyway, one for the briefcase and one for a title. They may as well just make that
one for the title is ridiculous.
Yeah, they may as well just make that a 2-brand show and just have 2 ladder matches.
But right now, I think it's listed as a Raw exclusive right now on the calendar. So we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll just have one SmackDown match for a briefcase. Who knows? That would be WWE's logic.
Yeah.
Though. Let's completely. It's a Raw exclusive pay-per-view, but don't miss the pre-show. You'll miss the SmackDown exclusive ladder match. Not that you wouldn't watch the pre-show anyway, since you can only watch it on the network. Hint, hint, hint. $9.99.
I never watched any of those. Only pre-shows I've watched the last few years I've had the network is the one for WrestleMania.
Yep, that's the only one that usually matters. The other ones are usually
they're gonna recap it anyway within that first half hour.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, that happened, and it really wasn't worth watching.
Besides, you'll usually get Jerry the King Lawler commentating the pre-show matches, and who wants to sit through that?
No.
I can't stand Lawler. God bless
Speaking
him.
of announcers, why does SmackDown have 4 announcers?
Yeah,
I'm not even sure Tom Phillips says anything unless the camera's on him.
He's more supposed to be the quote-unquote host of SmackDown, as they.
I don't even know what the hell it means.
You know,
That's Miz's job, isn't it? Isn't he still doing that?
But it's supposed to be like a buffer in between segments. But I think they're really going to start slowly
Then
phasing out Otunga.
Then, you see, I'd actually like to keep Otunga. I'd actually like to keep him. I think he's getting a lot better than what he was originally on the mic.
Yeah, but
You keep JBL. You obviously keep.
I think they're going to move him back to the pre-show or something, or Talking Smack or something like that.
Or at the very least, you're going to have to move Otunga to NXT, because I think they see enough talent in him as a commentator and that he's growing as a commentator that they're not just going to let,
I heard
someone with celebrity connections like being Jennifer Hudson's husband slip away.
Was she name dropped for absolutely no reason during the pay-per-view, if you caught it?
Yeah, they did it again on SmackDown, if you caught that. So.
I didn't catch it on SmackDown, but speaking of NXT, there's a little mini spoiler I'm going to just throw out there. It doesn't have to do with any match or anything, but I heard Percy Watson is now in Corey Graves' seat.
He's still employed?
I guess they brought him back because from my estimation, he was fired.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because Graves does Raw and he
I
does
think
205
they messed up,
Live.
man. I mean, Steve Carino's out there somewhere. Bring in Carino.
Yeah, he's in Performance Center now.
Yeah,
it could be Joey Styles, but no, he had to screw that up. Isn't even
by telling the truth.
Vince McMahon doesn't like the truth. Don't you understand that?
Unless it caters to his ego.
Exactly. that's why Laura Knight has had a job for so long.
Yes, man. I think overall I'm going to give the pay-per-view a solid B-. I think it had a lot of good matches. I just don't have faith as to where it's going to go because all the heels won.
Yeah,
there was no build-up of the baby faces.
Can you count? Is Nikki a face or she?
Yeah, Nikki's a face.
Yeah, that was the only answer. Was she with the heel team when she returned at SummerSlam? I don't even know.
But then Carmella attacked her on because I believe.
Again, that's no long-term planning. They just plan ahead for the next show.
Yeah, she returned. She was on the other team, on the heel team, but. The storyline was Carmella didn't like that because Carmella actually was the one to take the fall from Nikki, and then they reversed their alignments. So,
yeah, because that makes sense.
In WWE Universe, it does. Come on, guys. All right, well, we're running a little long, so I figured next week we're going to do...
the awards segment, which we used to love to do every year. We're going to love doing it again. This is going to be nice.
Are you going to plan out the nominees for each award better because you kept mixing them up one year?
Well, that's because my handwriting was bad. So I'm going to do all that stuff on the phone this time.
All right, use a text document. That'll be better.
Exactly what we're going to do.
All right. One last thing I do want to bring up before we close, because you and I were talking about it in the car on the way here. Linda McMahon is part of Donald Trump's cabinet. Did you hear about this?
I don't want to go on another.
Yeah, let's not get these started.
Yeah, I know, but let's
if you
talk.
guys see any of the stuff I post on Facebook,
I have, trust me. But I do want to get your opinion on how someone who has never worked a small business in her life, because when has WWE ever been considered a small business from when she and Vince took it over? How is she going to be running the small business administration?
I look at it like this. If the NFL can be considered a non-profit organization,
anything's possible.
Then her logic might stand where it is in her world.
Oh, hey, look at it this way. We're going to have a WWE Hall of Famer as president.
On that note,
if you guys need me, I'm going to go to Canada now.
I'm going to follow you. I'm going to go to Edmonton.
Oh God, this was fun. I miss doing this.
Yes.
We got the ball rolling. Next week we'll be handing out our awards.
Figuratively, because you guys are rich, and if we give you awards, then we're broke. So we'll just give you a gold sticker.
A participation award.
We'll put a sticker next to your picture that we have, like on a piece of paper. Or something.
Yeah. That'll go into the Week of Wrestling Hall of Fame.
There we go.
This is a better idea. We'll just make a text document and put the star emoji right next to your name.
There you go. Yeah, we'll tweet it out to you. You can print it out and hand it wherever you want.
A thumbs up and a winky face.
I'm actually doing a thumbs up.
Yes, he is. He's doing it right now.
All right. Well, until next week, I'm Luke Janesco.
I'm Casey Church.
And Dynamite D. Harris.
Oh, that's right. We have nicknames.
Oh, yeah. We all forgot except
the name. I turn heel on the video game.
And this has been your week in wrestling.